Hi, everybody. Welcome to the biggest misunderstandings around style. So glad that you're here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be talking. I made a list. Originally, it was going to be 3, but I actually have a list of 10 that I've put together. So give me a shout if you're here. And I'm going to go ahead and just dive in and start talking because there's so many misconceptions around style and what I do. And I thought this would just be fun to address many of these things. And the first one I would say is people are like, oh, style is just frivolous. It's just a superficial thing. And, I just want to say that I used to think that too. And that's partly why I have 2 different, I'm going to be talking more to the screen. So bear with me. Um, I, um, I actually started off in college and I went through an arts program and was going into fashion design. And even then, I was having doubts about going into fashion because I remember being like, well, it's superficial and does it really matter? And I remember one of the teachers was telling me, well, you could design things for people that have what is it when you have like type 1 diabetes or people that have lost limbs and like, well, that didn't really seem very aligned with me. But so I had to go through my whole journey of many years to realize like, yes, like style is my calling and it's not frivolous and it really does help people. So I think that's just like the passing thing is like, it just doesn't really matter. And it does. Don't you feel amazing when you put yourself together, whether you fix your hair or you're wearing something? It really does affect like your whole mood and your whole aura of how you put yourself out there. So yeah. Number 2, style is just about impressing other people. And I think we get this idea like from culture of like red carpet and there's at least in the era I grew up and there was like what not to wear and there's like a shame list of when someone doesn't wear something well. And that style, it's all about like the glamour and wearing the designers. And if you have a certain designer with a certain print, that really means something. And really, yeah, there are circles where there are people that judge around a whole lot around all of that. Definitely not really in my world, but I actually really believe that style most is about feeling good for yourself and showing up for yourself first. And like I like how Diane von Furstenberg, if you know of her, she's a amazing fashion designer, and she talks about like winking in the mirror at yourself and like that you like your own reflection and you like how you put yourself together. So I really believe it comes from yourself first, just like anything about the idea of taking care of yourself first. And when you do that, it's just a side benefit that other people are think a certain way of you about you or drawn to you in a certain way, but it's so much more than that. And even with my clients, like we do talk about their style in other areas, for instance, their pajamas and their underwear and their loungewear and like wearing things that feel good when they're not being seen by a whole lot of people, because that does matter too. All right. Number 3 style misconception is that, stylish people accumulate a lot of stuff. Like they have a lot of clothes. And, people say that to me sometimes, like, oh my gosh, you have so many clothes. And truth is, I think many of my clients, actually, in some ways, I think even most of my clients have more clothes than me in a lot of ways. I will say that I have clothes that I take care of and that I've had for many years. So I have things that I wear. Like earlier this week, I was wearing a dress that I had from, I don't know, 15 years ago, and it's in great condition. It's a vintage dress. So side note there. But no, I don't believe that you have to accumulate a whole lot of stuff to be fashionable. I think there really is this idea of capsule wardrobe and that you can have a wardrobe that is very interchangeable and that things go together in a lot of ways and you can get a lot of mileage out of what you have versus just a closet full of a whole bunch of stuff. And actually, I know because I have clients and people that come to me that have a whole bunch of stuff, but then they can't figure out what to wear. They just feel very misaligned with the things that they do have. So it really isn't necessarily about the whole volume of things that you have. It's like the idea of, if you are going to make a meal and you can have a kitchen full of different foods and supplies, but you may be having trouble trying to figure out what to cook. For one, there might be things in there that you don't like or are spoiled, or they might just be all really mismatched of things, flavors that don't go together. You just might not really have the skill of learning how to cook something. There are those people, that can just make nothing out of something out of what's in the refrigerator. So style is like that too. But yeah, you don't need to accumulate like a whole bunch of stuff. And I do have a number of clients where their sustainability is a concern, whether they live a mobile lifestyle. I have a client that is in the military, and moves around a lot. So really being, I think, most very strategic in what you buy and that you can wear it with multiple things. Number 4 misunderstandings is that you have to wait until your body is how you want it to be. And I would say this is one of the biggest objections that I hear from people, of that they want to work with me and they just won't, take that plunge because they're like not happy with their bodies. And I would say, style is one of the greatest ways to adorn and to love yourself and show that appreciation to your body. And I think we now live in times that we know, like, that, like, how important it is to self-care, and that you're not going to go like slave it away at the gym to go get your body the way that you want. Like, it really is going to be more from like loving your body, treating it with, loving it, treating it in healthy ways. And I see it with clients like that. A lot of them were just like wear all black or wear things that like cover and hide them. But as you wear things that feel good, it does show more love for your body. And I've had clients that have lost weight, had just more body confidence. So yeah, don't wait. And like, worst case scenario, you buy some clothes and like you lose some weight, you can take it to the tailor. It's not the big of a deal. Like, it doesn't take that much effort to like take some pants in and stuff. So, it's like, why wait? Like, life is too short. Life is too short not to, eat a chocolate cake and, go out and enjoy the day and have a walk and, take the vacation and to wear the clothes that you want to wear. Like, life is short. Number 5, it has to cost a lot of money to be stylish. And, this is like a little bit, there's multiple moving parts to this one, I would say. Of course, working with me is not cheap to work with. It is an investment, but clients also learn a lot around style. They can continue to use the skills that I help teach them. But it doesn't have to be a lot of money. When I was working on my style, when I lived in France, I didn't make very much money at all. I was an intern, and I really learned that I had to be very strategic. And if in Europe, they don't have a whole lot of sales. It happens like twice a year, and it's not even these big sales. And so I, had a little bit of money, and twice a year I could go buy a few things. And I had to just look really strategically that, like, I remember I have these really cute shorts. I still have them, like a skirt, like the black, and the way that they're cut, and they're amazing. They go with so many different things. Or I got some boots that I really loved. And like, I think that's part of my gift working with clients too, is like, let me take a sip of water. It's like looking strategically about like, what are the things that are going to make the most difference? Because you can go buy like a whole lot of stuff. And I've had clients that are like that. They just go in this like massive shopping spree. I'm like, you don't actually need to do that. Like, don't we all love stuff? But if you can just look at like, what are the few key pieces that are going to make a really big difference? And like, everything, people come to me with all different sorts of budgets. And I do have clients that we really like secondhand hunt and find some really great things, whether it be on eBay or Poshmark or other places as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to cost a lot of money. I do think it's important to invest. I do believe I would recommend people shop at places nicer than Target, for instance. But also, if you look at it, I don't think people realize when you're having to continually buy new things each season versus you have things that you spend a bit more money, but they last longer. In the end, you're actually saving yourself more time and more money and all the hassle and a whole lot of things. So I really do think it helps in the end. But I would say, so like, number 6 is one of the big misconceptions is like, clothing is really overpriced, and that it's oh, a designer stuff is just expensive because it has the label on it. That's definitely one that I've heard many a times. And having myself been in had a fashion brand, you might have known I had a fashion brand in Bali where I did made to order jumpsuits and some other women's clothing and accessories. And they call it, the rag business. It's not the easiest business. And this definitely being in the product business and everything from the fabrics and the supply chain and stuff. And I could just tell you that like you really have to be very smart if you're going to be a profitable fashion brand. So I could just see the other side of it, that things cost a certain way for a reason. And I think there's a lot of judgment around designer stuff, and that there's a reason that it costs that much. I mean, there is a reason, the way that things are made, and just the name that has been built, and that frequency that you're buying too. There's a certain frequency of when you wearing something, whether it's Louis Vuitton or Prada, that brand has been established over time, so that you're going to be able to get to carry something of that sort of frequency. Um, yeah, I think it's just a lot of judgment, but people just don't know. And not all my clients want to go buy, like designer stuff. And I'm also a fan of like secondhand and other things too. But yeah, I would say don't judge something that you don't know. And it's like, have you ever driven a Mercedes or a Porsche? Like it feels amazing. There's a reason that it costs what it does. And I would say style in a lot of ways is the same. And yeah, of course there are some brands that have higher markups than others, but I think it's an argument that actually doesn't have enough depth to it. And it's usually the people who are just buying the cheap things. They're just going to JCPenney or TG Maxx and Target without really knowing what it feels like to have things that are much nicer. And then there's also, there's like brands that are, I have lots of clients, we shop brands that are, I would say it's like more like the mid-price brands. Like I think like for most people, it's like getting them to the next tier of um of style, like hierarchy, so to speak. Like I'm not gonna have most clients that are shopping at like Costco and Target, they're not gonna go buy like a designer bag tomorrow, typically. Typically it's like getting to the next space. So like my clients, a lot of them that are just used to buying just really cheap things, maybe it's getting them to like the 100, 200, $300 fade, like tier of clothing. And then it's getting people to like the 500, and then they're ready more to go towards 1,000. So I think there's different like markers in style, but there's some really great brands that there's things, like dresses or a good pair of pants and different things that are in that like $150 to $300 range. And you definitely notice like the quality, and you notice just that it's usually a small business. There's a lot of like integrity in the way things are made as well. And the design elements. So yeah. All right. Number 7, this is like, oh my gosh, I could shout this one to the rooftops of misconceptions, is like, it should just fit. Like you should just be able to go to a store and it should just fit perfectly. And it's just, people just go on and on and on that I have such a hard time finding clothes, and it's so impossible to find clothes, so hard to find things that just fit right, and blah, 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 a lot of complaining. Well, the thing is, like, we all have very different bodies, and there is no, one size. Do you think more self person is important? I'll get to that. People think that like it should just fit them off the rack, but we all have different bodies. And if you think back in our grandparents' generation, like they did more clothing that was made to fit them. And so I'm a big proponent of the tailor. Pretty much all my clients, like we go to, if they don't have one already, help them go find a tailor and build that relationship, because most people need regular tailoring. It's just facts of the matter. You can find some brands that are going to align a bit more, like they're going to have just a little bit more natural fit for you, and you can learn obviously like the silhouettes that work better for you. But I still think most people are going to need tailoring, and maybe not everything, but a number of things. So answer your question, do you think style or personality is more important? Well, I think, and actually I'll jump to this now, because this is actually my 10th one, of like people, a lot of times stylists is just like, well, it should just be what looks good on you. That's what a lot of stylists do. A lot of stylists, you would go to a lot of stylists and they just be like, okay, this is the color season that you are, and this is your body type, and this is what you should wear. And of course, there's value in that, but I really believe in really helping people more learn, like, more to reflect of who they want to be, like how they want to show up, and using those stylist tools is like a secondary thing, because I do feel like it's more important to show your personality. And like, I'm not really into trends or anything, like, and everyone is different in how they, like, what style they're drawn to, why they're drawn to it. So I really believe style is about self-expression. So you may, if you're new here, I have this deck called the Style Oracle deck, which is a deck of 50 cards featuring women from around the world of all different style. And like, I use this with my clients, is like, this is one of the tools of many others as well. But so yeah, abundance. This is a good one. So person pulling this card, like, this would bring up a conversation about like what feels abundant to them. I mean, for her, it's this big ball gown, but it could be someone else, could be jewelry, could be something else. Someone else could pull a card and they get, there's a good one, like conscious. So this might be a person who really cares about sustainability, or loves all the like draping whites, as this amazing designer does as well. So yeah, I think style really at the end of the day is about personality. And I don't think people, I think we also, it's great as we live in these times where there is a lot more freedom to wear, like, to express who you are, and a lot of different contexts of there's just a lot more freedom of what we can do at the end of the day. I hope that answered your question. Yeah, so another misconception is like style and fashion are the same thing, and that it has a lot to do with trends. So I don't even a lot of times know what the trends are going on. I do now. I have like a weekly thing that I do. I go look at magazines, so I think I'm getting like more in tune with it. But I still am not like a trend person. I mean, I think I naturally probably, like, sometimes I naturally find trends or something, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, this is the thing of the season. And I mean, fashion is like, in short, is like, fashion is the clothes that we wear, like the things that you put on your body. And style is something that's much deeper, which is this true expression of who you are. It's this declaration of who you are to the world. And it's this whole energy of how you show up. That is style. Like, there are many people out there who can go and they just buy clothes, like even going to even something designer, and they buy like head to toe designer, and it's fashionable, but it doesn't really have like style. Like, style is something else. Like, style is like, when someone is stylish because they just have this way that they put things together, which is interesting, that they've, um, it's an expression of them. It's not this like cookie cutter, just thing. It's like, style is this mashup of all these different elements that make it interesting, and give you like a taste about who this person, show you who this person is before they even say anything. And I think this will be my last one of my misconceptions, is that working with a stylist is like something that celebrities do. That is just something, it's like a very posh thing to do. I've heard this recently from someone, that it's a very indulgent thing to do. And that's not true at all. I think we have this idea from like way back in the day, but really, really is not. And for many people, style is not an instinctive thing. And just like anything, like, you can get help with it. It can really make a huge difference in how you feel about yourself. And I think that's partly why people who have experienced working with a stylist know the real power of how good it feels when you have clothes that feel amazing, when you have a closet that's organized and filled with things that are interchangeable and have like create outfits. Like, there's so much value in that. So if that sounds like something that you want to explore, that you want to talk more, you can book a call with me, depending on what platform. You can also just send me a DM if you can't find where my link is. I know on LinkedIn, there's just like a book a call with me. And I work with people in many different capacities. I have people who come to me who have a photo shoot, who have a special event. I have people that have, upgrading in their jobs, or, or just want some new clothes. I mean, all different kinds of people, and all different sort of reasons of why they want help. I do pull you a card to give you a little style oracle reading. So give you a little intuitive hit, and we can see what would work for you. And if you want to work more together, yeah, cool. Just want to see if there's any more questions. It's like so many of y'all here today. It's amazing. Do you find these surprising? Any of them surprising? Yeah, there's so many. It's funny because originally it was gonna be 3, and it was like, what would be the 3? I guess the 3 would probably be like it's frivolous, um, style is the same as fashion, and I don't know. It's hard to pick. There's so many truths and all that. But don't be shy, if you need my help. So just reach out to me. All right. Well, again, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have an awesome weekend. I am going to be doing a confidence in your clothes workshop. I think it's going to be September 7th. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be like a Zoom workshop. All right. Well, have an awesome day. Talk to you soon.